Good afternoon, everybody. We are live here on Saturday night in South Beach, Miami. We're going to be live for about an hour tonight, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the global supply chain crisis as well as the semiconductor shortage. We'll touch on that for a little bit. I know there's not supposed to be a specific topic for the weekends, but we'll go into that a little bit. Also, if anybody wants to sign up for the free newsletter, the Behind the Street newsletter, if you do !news in the chat, it'll drop you a link to the newsletter. Hey, Maya's here. What's up, Maya? What's up, Charlie Richardson? Hunter Butler says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Good to see you too, Hunter. Hope you're well. Happy Saturday to everybody. Charlie, Maya, Hunter. Vinny Castellano says, hi, Tom. Hey, Solo401 is here. Long time no see. Soho guy is here. What's up, Soho? And it is extremely windy, a very windy night. We've been having a lot of rain here in Southern Florida. By the book says, howdy, Tom. Dante Rose says, hey, Tom. War Walker's here. Jetstar says, still in Miami, Tom. Yes. So Jetstar, I'm actually getting on a plane flying back to New York City on Monday morning. So I will be back in New York on Monday morning. War Walker, good to see you. Solo401 says, happy Festivus. Happy Festivus for the rest of us, indeed. Amir, what's up, Amir? Jonathan Richards says, hi, Tom. What's up, Jonathan? Happy Saturday. Hope you're well. George Lopez says, evening, Tom. So it's going to be another short stream, guys. I was doing some work, so I was supposed to be on a little bit earlier. But I was reading a lot of interesting articles around the supply chain crisis. And mainly also around the semiconductor shortage. As you know, there's a global semiconductor shortage. And the reason why this is so important to talk about is because many of the products and services that we all know and love, especially nowadays as we move into new technologies like electric vehicles, autonomous driving, AI, artificial intelligence, smartphones, 5G, all that stuff. Pretty much all of these products and services, you need chips, you need semiconductors to make these products and services. So I was reading an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal where Polaris, which is sort of like an action sports, motorsports company, they sell anything from like those dirt bikes to snowmobiles and things like that. They're actually shipping their products without any of their electrical components and without any of their smart electrical locking systems too. So they're actually shipping out products without any digital screens or anything and just telling the customers, we'll mail them to you when they're available. So pretty crazy. But we'll talk more about that today on the stream. Hey, Sunshine After Rain is here. Says, hi, Tom, everybody. What's up, Sunshine? Happy Saturday. Good to see you, Sunshine After Rain. George Lopez is here. What is up, everybody? Solo401. Good to see you. Hope you're well. War Walker is here. He's our pal from Southern Florida. Joey, what's up, Joey? Says hi, Tom. What's up, Joey? Hope everybody's having a good start to the weekend. So we've been having a crazy amount of rain here in Southern Florida. It was almost raining the entire day yesterday, and it rained pretty much all day today. So the rain has stopped for now. British Gray is in the chat. Says, good Saturday evening, Tom. British Gray is joining us from Tampa, Florida. Soho Guy says, hey, Tom, I heard that Tesla is temporarily getting rid of touchscreens and going all analog. I never heard that, Soho. Soho, if you have a link to that, definitely drop it in the chat, but I haven't heard that. One of the things that I have heard, though, is especially in like action motorsports companies that manufacture anything from snowmobiles, ATVs, dirt bikes, on all of their orders, they're just shipping the products without any sort of electrical components. So, you know, on the modern snowmobiles now, they have all of the touch screens, all of the dash for electronic locking mechanisms. With the global semiconductor shortage that's going on right now, they're just shipping the products without any electrical components. And they said, look, we'll get them to you when we have them in. So it's really crazy what's going on with this global supply chain shortage and with the global supply chain holdup and the semiconductor shortage. Santa Monica Rodriguez is here, says hello. What's up, Santa Monica Rodriguez? Always good to see you. Hope you're having a good Saturday and a good start to the weekend so far. Soho says, yo, Tom, will all analog, they will save 90% on chips. Yeah, I mean, I think mainly what's going on, Soho, is that they're just delaying the process and sort of just trying to give customers the best experience possible by saying, look, we're going to deliver the product to you, but you're only going to get the bare bones, so to speak. And when we have all those chips ready, we'll send you the screens, the locking mechanisms, and the like. But I don't think Tesla will ever go away from touch screens or anything like that. I think they're just too modern of a company. But Soho, Tesla has been one of the companies that have been navigating this semiconductor shortage the best, in my opinion, out of any of the companies out there, even better than Apple. You know, just to give you some context, I actually ordered a computer from Apple probably mid to early October, and it just shipped. Yes, 2 days ago, right? Excuse me, it just shipped on Thursday. So just to provide you some perspective of what, just some of the backlogs that they're having, which is pretty crazy. British Gray, good to see you. British Gray is joining us from Tampa, Florida. Santa Monica Rodriguez, sunshine after rain. What's going on? So if anybody wants to read a free financial newsletter, as you guys know, we will not be posting it on the YouTube community page anymore. If you type in !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop a link to where you could sign up for the newsletter, and it will email you the newsletter every single Saturday. But it's going to be a little bit backlogged over the next couple days as I'm uploading all of the previous newsletters to the site, because it's only allowed one email per day. So just sort of be advised and stand by if you start getting a lot of emails. M Wall on the Run says, hi Tom, the car dealership in my town doesn't have any new cars in stock at all. They only have new trucks and used cars for sale. Luckily, they have a big repair maintenance business as well. Yeah, so Wall on the Run, that's another great point. I was actually talking to one of my neighbors that actually ordered one of the new Range Rovers. He was telling me he ordered one of the new Range Rovers and it's not even built yet. That's how much of a shortage we have on new vehicles. And one of the reasons for this is because cars are so modern now. All of this new technology, they require chips. So especially if you're talking about an electric vehicle or something like that. So we have a shortage of new cars. And some of the statistics that just came out, car sales, even though they're coming in very strong, they actually appear to be down. But the only reason why new car sales are down is because there's no cars to sell. So one of my neighbors just bought a new Range Rover, paid above sticker price. So the dealership marked it up, he's paying over sticker price, and it's still to be determined when or if he'll ever receive the car. Pretty crazy. Hey, we have Marty Lewis here. Good afternoon, Marty Lewis. Hope you're well. We're walking around South Beach tonight. This seems to be a pretty cool building with good architecture here. Hey, Tyrone Power, good afternoon. Says, hey, Tom, hope you are doing well. Tyrone Power, I wish the same for you. Soho says, robots are getting really advanced. My Amazon store supplier, Baba, is doing all robotics on the manufacturing of masks and face shields that I sell. Interesting. Very interesting, Soho. Very cool. I'll give you guys a shot at this architecture here. Very cool. Brandy says, hey Tom, what's up, Brandy? Good to see you here. Jetstar says it took 3.5 months for my AMP to arrive from Bulgaria due to a chip shortage. I mean, it seems like everybody across all industries are dealing with the same thing, which is pretty crazy. Horatio Snipes says, streets miss you in New York City, bro. Horatio, I will be in New York on Monday, first thing Monday morning. I will be in New York, back in New York City on Monday. Hey, Rhino305 says, hey Tom, you should sell t-shirts. Skateboards don't need no stinking chips. Maybe we'll do that, Rhino. If you can get it together, we'll do it. But Rhino305, good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well and hope you're having a great weekend. Joey says, yes, it's Versace Mansion. So we're on 11th Street here in South Beach. For the Love of God says, hey, watching you and AK at the same time. Hey, what's up, For the Love of God? Soho says, robotics really dropped the marginal cost. They definitely do. And Soho, that definitely ties into what we were talking about a couple days ago on the stream about how automation is going to replace a lot of jobs. But what I think is that with all of the disruption, with all of the factory workers, the assembly line workers, and the delivery workers, and the truckers that automation will replace, I think it will in tandem create a ton of jobs down the line for engineers and the like. And that's why we need, as Americans, we need to invest into job retraining programs for a lot of people. Hey, QBiz says, hey Tom, good to see you on this Saturday evening. What's up, QBiz? Dave from Maine says, good evening, Tom. What's up, Dave? M. Wall says, was that the Versace Mansion? I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar down here with this area. Buy the Book says, what do you think is the solution to the supply chain shortage? And do you anticipate it lasting into 2022? So Buy the Book, one of the things that I think the problem is, I guess we'll just address the problem and then we'll go into the solution. Essentially, when you shut down a global economy and essentially tell everybody you cannot do any sort of business activity for 8 months, on top of the only business activity you can conduct during that 8 months is all e-commerce. So what that has done is that has driven tons of people to purchase products and services online. And when you purchase products and services online, what does that mean? These products need to be shipped, these products need to be delivered, so that creates a massive, massive backlog. Also, if you want to look up a very interesting, I'm not going to really call it documentary, but there was a 60 Minutes, a very good 60 Minutes piece on the supply chain. So if anybody wants to go on YouTube and type in 60 Minutes supply chain, it literally details the exact problems that we're having and some of the reasons why. So when you see all of these ships off the coast of Long Beach and off the coast of California, a lot of the times, the only reason why they're sitting offshore is not because they don't have anybody onshore to take the products and services off, is because all of the shipyards are so filled to the brim with containers already, and they're waiting for truckers to actually come and take all of this stuff out. So I think this problem is going to persist well into 2022. But what I think is probably in Q3 or Q4 of 2022, you're going to see this shift, and we're actually probably going to have a lot of surpluses in the country, and that's probably something we're going to have to deal with as well. Hey, Dogman, what's up, Dogman? Good to see you. Kim Grant says, hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy Saturday, Kim. Dogman, Loretta, how are you, Loretta? Jetstar says, was your airfare high to return to New York City due to the holiday? So Jetstar, my airfare was probably 59 to 60 bucks. Ooh, and it's raining, so I think we're gonna have to go under some shelter here. It is raining like crazy, guys. Check this out. Hey, Eric Texas says, do you believe in universal basic income as a replacement to other government assistance? So Eric Texas, I think you make a good point. And you guys sort of know my views. I tend to be mainly a very pure capitalist. However, what I do agree with is I agree with universal basic income for people that need to go through job retraining programs due to the fact that automation is really going to take over factory jobs, manufacturing jobs in the United States. So what I do agree with is, as companies and as 3PL logistics companies, as warehousing companies tend to purchase new robots that will then replace regular everyday American workers, including truckers, what I do agree with is some sort of universal basic income to help these people transition to newer jobs as they're getting retrained. So that is where I agree with universal basic income. So I hope that makes sense. What about you? Dave says, wow, you're getting hit hard. Yeah, so it's been raining quite a lot here in Southern Florida. Hey, Irevis is here. Says, oh my God, it's raining. What's up, Irevis? Good to see you. For the Love of God says, many trains here in the Midwest full of containers stacked double high. Some trains over 120 cars. Says, for the Love of God. Yeah, I could imagine. I could only imagine. Hey, Deborah. How are you, Deborah? Soho guys says, automating all jobs creates more jobs that can be filled with robots, and Tesla bot just an endless spiral upward. I agree. QBiz says, that's typical in Miami. The drop of a dime, it will storm out of nowhere. I agree. Good thing I took an umbrella. But QBiz, it's been raining like crazy over the past couple of days here in Miami. But I believe this is your guys' rainy season. I'm not sure about that 100%, but it seems to be your guys' rainy season. Dogman says, I saw you interacting with that Wales Twitter account. Seems like a scam to make money on the dreams of retail traders to me. Is that stuff legit? So Dogman, yeah, the whales, that's just essentially, they track order flow, right? Especially in the options market. So it's just a Twitter account. I don't pay for their services or anything, but sometimes I'll retweet some of the research that they put out. But essentially it's an industry term where you're watching order flow to see where the big money is moving. If there's any outsized or abnormal options activity in the market. So I think one of the things that they were looking into, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of, and I'm not going to try to give my opinion on it, but I believe Business Insider had put out some sort of a hit piece on Dave Portnoy, which is the founder of Barstool Sports, which is like a sports media company. And one of the very interesting things that we've saw, like literally 4 hours before they dropped that hit piece on Dave Portnoy, I'm not saying if it's true or not, I don't know anything about the guy. There was a crazy order flow going into put options on Penn National Gaming. Now, Penn National Gaming, Dave Portnoy owns a significant stake in that specific company. So the theory is there was probably some hedge fund on Wall Street that was funding this hit piece and placed a massive short position before they launched the hit piece. Now, that's all alleged. I'm not saying that's what happened. But if you look at the options order flow in the options market, that does seem to be the case. Somebody purchased a massive amount of put options contracts right before they dropped that hit piece. Hey, Techno Pink is here from the Dominican Republic. Says hello. What's up, Techno Pink? Good to have you here, my friend. Dogman says, like, heavy puts before earnings or something could be a red flag. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. George Lopez says, Tom, send some of that rain to San Diego. You know what? I wish there could be something like, there needs to be a technology invented to where they're able to transport rainwater from places like Southern Florida that get so much rain to places like California where you guys are struggling with wildfires. So I'm sure some entrepreneur will definitely do that in the near future. I think that'd be a good idea. Jetstar says rainy season ends December 1st. So far, so for us in Florida. Had rain here today in Naples, Florida. Where is Naples, Florida? Is that on the West Coast? Eric, Texas says it's fair to use the same federal tax table for all states. Some states, 150K salary won't buy you a house, says Eric, Texas. Dogman says Penn, ticker symbol PENN, had earnings that morning, and it was a miss too the same day. It's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah, so Dogman, I wouldn't particularly, I don't sign up for any particular service where you watch options order flow, but sometimes I think it's interesting that people on Twitter are willing to publish information for people to check out for free. I think that's kind of cool. Hey, Lena Sandoval is here. What's up, Lena Sandoval? Team INC says, are you going to be in Miami for Art Basel? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what that is. If it's next week, I won't be, because I'm actually flying back to New York City on Monday, and I will be in New York City for about a week for the Thanksgiving holiday. I'll be spending that with my family back in New York. Lena Sandoval says, hello, Tom and everybody. Good afternoon, Lena. Good to see you. Hope you're well. It just had a little bit of a rainstorm here in South Beach. British Gray says, yes, it's rainy season and it will turn cold. So British Gray, that's one of the funny things. So I always, me and my neighbor we literally almost have the same schedule when we wake up to go to work. And all this week, my neighbor was walking out of his house with like a North Face jacket on. Anytime in Southern Florida where it gets like maybe 67 to 70 degrees, it seems like everybody throws on winter jackets, which is kind of crazy to me, being from New York. That's sort of like spring weather to us. Hey, Vinny Castellano says, can you live stream the Macy's parade this year? Maybe. That's going to be tentative. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in Manhattan on the exact day of Thanksgiving, but that is to be determined. I may do that. Jonathan Richards says, hey, Tom, did you close any good deals this week? Jonathan, we didn't close any deals this week, but this week was a very busy week with implementation planning. We were planning with actually the digital advertising company that we were working with, and I'm excited to share with everybody sort of what we're doing, but until the first batch of devices are implemented, I don't want to disclose too much of what we're doing, but I will say, if anybody frequents Circle K or Kroger stores, you're going to see this specific product everywhere, and just know that those specific products are powered by me. As cool as that sounds, it is true. But we'll go into that more on different live stream. Jetstar says, West Coast, Tom, just take Alligator Alley to the west coast of the state. So Jetstar, that is definitely something I want to do. I've never actually been to the west coast of Florida before, so that is something I want to check out. A lot of people have been telling me that I should really take a day trip or spend a weekend in Key West, Florida. So I have a lot on my plate to do for sure. Lena Sandoval, good to see you. Jonathan Richards, what about you? Did you close any big deals this week? Anything interesting? Hunter Butler says, I think I know what it is, Tom. Yeah, essentially what we're working on, or what my client is working on, is these... So I guess I'll preface this by saying one of my other customers owns a company that runs digital advertising machines on the top of taxis. So if you're ever in New York City and you see like an electronic or LED sign on top of a taxi, the two biggest competitors in that space, number one being Halo, which was actually acquired by Uber, but the other one is a company called Vugo, V-U-G-O, and they have a couple products from me that help power their digital advertising. It's a very cool company. It's called Vugo, V-U-G-O. Ron says, hey Tom, hi, and welcome to the weekend. What's up, Ron? Ron, you know what that just reminded me of? If anybody has Twitter, there's a hilarious Twitter account. I forget who the actor is, but every single Friday night they tweet out the same thing, and this guy's like, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. And I think he was on Saturday Night Live or something. I forget the guy's name, but it's hilarious. They tweet it every single Friday. Hey, Nicholas says, how you doing? What's up, Nicholas? Good to see you. Ron, good to see you. We are in South Beach tonight, guys. Eric, Texas says, in your opinion, has Elon Musk surpassed Steve Jobs as an innovator? That's a tough one to say, Eric, and I think a lot of people have been debating two things in relation to that argument. Well, not really that argument. I think that over time, Elon Musk will do more good for society's sustainability standpoint, because a lot of people just think about Elon Musk and Tesla as their electric vehicles. But I think as you look into the company and sort of what they're doing, I think their battery and power storage unit is actually going to be even more lucrative than their electric vehicle business, their power storage business. And I think that's going to do a lot of good for the climate as well. Jonathan says, I hope the few agents close some of their deals as their manager. There we go. Awesome, Jonathan. Jetstar says, We'll host your visit here in Naples, Florida, Tom. Hey, Jetstar, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. So a lot of people have been moving to St. Augustine, Florida. I've never been there either, but I would definitely like to check it out. Our pal Soho Guy says, some say the average worker in China makes 110,000. No way that's true, probably lies. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily true. One of the things that you do see in China is that the majority of the wealth is concentrated in the big coastal cities, and actually in mainland China, a lot of people are in poverty, unfortunately. But Eric, Texas, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think Elon Musk is a bigger innovator than Steve Jobs? I mean, it's hard to say. I think it's going to be close. I think over time, just due to Elon Musk's longevity, I think he's going to do some interesting things. Reva says, if it's snowing in New York in a few weeks, are you still visiting New York? 100%. Well, Reva says, I have to get back to New York anyway to see the family for Thanksgiving. I see Nicholas here. What's up, Nicholas? Hey, Paul Hayes says, hi, Tom. I'm watching from Manchester, England. Just wanted to say hello. Love the channel. Hey, Paul Hayes. Thank you for being here from Manchester, England. We love England here. By the book says a lot of Disney employees are relocating from California to Central Florida. Did not know that. By the book. What is the reason for that, by the book? Do you know? Ron says picked up a few more silver rounds this week. Ron, very cool. Whereabouts, Ron, did you go to get them? Hey, Susanna says hi. What's up, Susanna? Jetstar says what Musk is doing in space is amazing. Yeah, I mean, potentially, I mean, the guy's trying to colonize Mars, which is insanity. So Elon Musk was actually in a little bit of hot water this week for sort of going back and forth and making a little bit of a backhanded comment to Senator Bernie Sanders. I'm not sure if anybody saw that on Twitter, but he was, and look, you know, I'm not a Bernie supporter. You guys know me. I'm a very, you know, my politics tend to be more conservative, laissez-faire capitalism. But I think what Elon Musk said to Bernie Sanders was a little bit uncalled for. Like, you know, you don't got to throw shots at the guy like that. I mean, I thought it was a little bit inappropriate, but that's just my opinion. Hey, Jared Covey with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jared. I really appreciate it. It says towards a widescreen. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate all the support on the channel. Eric, Texas says Elon Musk is casting a wider net, which is more impressive. You know, that's a good thought. But Eric, what do you think about this? So I was actually hypothesizing this with some of my friends. And I think if Steve Jobs, you know, unfortunately he passed away, I think if he didn't die, I think he would be on the same trajectory as Elon Musk. I really think his innovations got cut short, obviously, due to his premature death. Because if you think about what's going on right now with Apple, they actually came out and announced they're looking into making cars. So we'll see. Susanna says your camera has a high quality. Thank you, Susanna. I hope you're having a great Saturday. War Walker says, here comes the rain again. It's raining in downtown Miami. So War Walker, did you see all of the flooding yesterday in downtown Miami? It was crazy. Hey, Chris Mills says both visionaries, but in a different time. Yeah, Chris, I agree with you. And what's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well, Chris. Soho says, yo, Tom, I think Florida is going to gain 3 million people in the next 12 months. I mean, I sure hope not. I mean, one of the things I've noticed, so even though Florida is extremely clean, as you see here, just the humanity of people here is really unprecedented. I'll give you guys some perspective here. I actually went into the Walmart Thursday morning at 7 o'clock. I got there literally almost right as it opened at 7 a.m. Because I'm like, you know what? Because I made the mistake of going to Walmart at like 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And I'm talking about, I have never in my life seen a line so long, and I've never seen just the humanity of people. It was just literally insane. I'm just gonna make sure this guy doesn't run me over. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning at Walmart. The line was probably, if not the same, greater than it was in the middle of the day. So Florida is definitely a packed place. Hey, Marcus here says, hey Tom, how do you like Florida? It looks beautiful. It's only 35, windy and cold here. Wow. So Mark, I'm liking it a lot. I really do enjoy Southern Florida. The weather's great. The people have been extremely kind and welcoming to me so far. One of the things that I'll say though, as a downside, I live in an area where it doesn't flood at all, but if you're in downtown Miami near the Brickell and it's I was gonna say snowing, and it's raining all day, you're gonna have crazy amount of flooding in the street. The last time I saw flooding that bad, as I've seen in downtown Miami, was when I used to work in downtown Brooklyn, and also near Red Hook, Brooklyn. The flooding in the streets is like a waterfall. It is insane. Mark says, Tom, the picture looks perfect. What cell phone service do you use? So I have Verizon, but I am streaming on an iPhone 11. War Walker says, yeah, it's horrible. The area floods all the time. So War Walker, somebody was telling me about it, and I think it's called the King Tides. Is that correct? It's called the King Tides. Chris Mills is lined up to get into Walmart. Society has gone mad. Yeah, Chris, so I go to the Walmart right near Aventura, and it's so packed. It's crazy. And, you know, I think I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think the traffic in Miami is worse than New York, if that's even possible. I know you guys are probably thinking, what are you talking about? You're crazy. No, I'm serious. Because I had to take an Uber. I had to take an Uber once because the bus was delayed. I got a notification on that Miami-Dade app that says the S bus isn't running or whatever. So I took an Uber, and it took me almost 45 minutes to go 4 miles back to my house. It was crazy. It was literally gridlock traffic. I'm not sure what road it was. I think it was US 1. By the book says the relocation of 2,000 Disney California employees to Florida was an organized move, which Disney stated will occur due to Florida's business-friendly climate. Started July 21. Wow, I didn't know that. So by the book, do you think that's probably due to the C word? We're not allowed to say it on the stream, but I believe there's more stricter lockdown restrictions in California than there are in Florida. So perhaps that could be one of the reasons. Hey, Ahmed is here. What's up, Ahmed? How are you? Good to see you, Ahmed. Hey, Tony says, hi, my friend. How are you, mate? Enjoy the beautiful night in Miami. I have a coffee. Thanks, Tony. It's from Sydney, Australia. It's raining here. The time is 13:24 p.m. afternoon on a Sunday. Tony, thank you for joining. Hunter Butler says Steve Jobs was the single largest Disney shareholder, says Hunter Butler. Hunter Butler, we were on 7th Street in South Beach. And I think it's starting to rain again a little bit. Hey, and we have the one and only Dino, New Jersey. What's up, Dino, New Jersey? Says greetings, Tom. Jetstar says the season in Florida and all the snowbirds come to Florida from up north. That's true. That is true. Buy the book says yes, absolutely. So I really actually wanted to bring up something about the C word, but we're not allowed to, which is a bummer. I actually got an email from YouTube, like an automated email from YouTube, pretty much stating we're not allowed to talk about it, which is wild. Because I think it's important to talk about it, especially being that we are a finance channel and we talk about finance. So, yeah, I mean, bummer, but the YouTube overlords and they don't want us talking about it. Mark says, Tom, how much is an Uber down there? It costs $25 to take Uber here 5 miles. I think I spent about $8.75. So my Uber was $8.75, not including the tip. And I went from North Beach, which is just south of Sunny Isles, all the way back to North Miami Beach. And I thought that was ridiculously cheap. I thought that was so ridiculously affordable. Hey, Ken Kramer's here. Ken Kramer says C for censorship. What's up, Ken? Ken Kramer knows what's going on. Hey, Roz says, I called the girl. Oh, jeez. What's up, Roz999? Hope you're well. Eric says, I think universal basic income would be good if it replaces other assistance. Also an option to receive it, bonds or something similar for those not needing the cash. Yeah, so Eric, Texas, I think in general, I do not agree with the premise of universal basic income. However, what I do agree with is the experiment, what I would like to do. And the reason why I sort of am familiar with this idea is actually because of Andrew Yang. He says we should experiment with universal basic income for people who are prone to losing their jobs due to automation. So for example, if you're a factory worker and your company is purchasing a lot of robots, we should be able to sign you up for job retraining programs where while you are getting back on your feet and being retrained to do your job, you're receiving essentially payments or universal basic income in the meantime. And that I actually do agree with, because as somebody who works in the technology space right now and understands it, the disruption is going to be amazing. It's going to be breathtaking. But it doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to be bad if we retrain and retool our workers in the economy. Hey, Marcelo says, hello, Tom from Brazil. What's up, Marcelo? Good to see you. Ken Kramer, good to see you. Buy the book says Florida is far less restrictive, and that was a smart business move by Disney, says buy the book. Dino, New Jersey, what's going on? Yeah, so everybody, Sunshine After Rain just dropped the link to my newsletter. So as you know, I'm not allowed, it's not that I'm not allowed, it just doesn't work well to post the newsletter on the YouTube community page. So if you type in !news, NEWS in the chat, Nightbot will drop the link where you could sign up to receive the newsletter via email. So all you have to do is punch in your email address and then you will receive the newsletter every single week going forward. Hey, Al J is here, says hi, Tom. What's up, Al J? Good to see you. Happy Saturday, Al J. Mark says Florida is much cheaper than New Jersey. Gas here is $3.90. How much is it in Florida? I actually think Florida is maybe like $3.45. I was passing Bal Harbor, and there was a gas station there, and I think the gas was about $3.35. I think one of the things about Florida is that there's just no state income tax. So it's obviously going to be more affordable to live than New Jersey or New York. But historically, one of the negatives about Florida is that the job market has not been strong. But one of the things that we're seeing, especially in tech, is a lot more startup companies are moving down here. We're actually seeing financial services companies moving down here. Some of the large investment banks are moving locations to southern Florida, venture capital, private equity. So I think it will improve over time. It's definitely not there yet, but I do think it will improve over time, the job market in Miami. Or it's in Florida in general. Al J says, thank you, happy Saturday. Hey, Melee is here. What's up, Melee? Ron says, retraining is so much harder than it sounds. There is a resistance in people after being jolted from their job. I agree. Yeah, Ron, you make a great point. Let me wipe off the camera. Yeah, Ron, you know, a lot of people, you know, fight the fact that their jobs are going to be obsolete. And I get that. And you see that a lot with the coal miners. You know what I mean? And you know, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. I think you're right. Hey, Sally says, beautiful night, Tom, and beautiful view. What's up, Sally? Benjamin Cornell says, hey, Tom, been watching for a while. How do you feel about the move away from centralized finance by Amazon and the Visa stuff? And how do you think this is going to affect existing forms of payment? So I think so it's great that you brought that up, because we were talking about Visa and MasterCard about 2 weeks ago on the stream. And the reason why we were talking about that is because these stocks were selling off like crazy. And I had brought up on the stream, I'm like, you know, why is MasterCard stock selling off? And I believe Visa is now trading at a 30 times earnings, which is a historically low multiple for a company like Visa. So we were speculating, you know, why is this, right? And so the market is usually a very good forward-looking mechanism. So usually the news of a particular stock or a particular company comes out way later than the actual move in the stock price. So in relation to Visa and MasterCard, I was speculating, I'm like, look, this stock is being dumped. So the market knows something that we don't. And what I was speculating is that the world is going to move towards perhaps a lot more of these buy now, pay later platforms that we've seen going public and that we've seen coming out and signing a lot of deals with a lot of e-commerce companies like Amazon, like Walmart, like Shopify. So what I'm thinking is the market is making a big bet that buy now, pay later will start to eat away at a significant amount of market share from traditional fintech firms. You think about a company like MasterCard, Visa, Fiserv, things like that. I think the market is telling us that there's a good possibility that buy now, pay later will start to take on a bigger portion of the economy. Sunshine After Rain says, yes, it rained. Bukan says, by the way, did it rain? Yes, it did. Hey, the Gamer World 2 says, good night all. Good night, Gamer World 2. Michael F says, good evening. What's up, Michael F? Sally says, nothing much, Tom. It's raining here. It's nice where you're at. Dino, New Jersey says, regular unleaded is about $3.29 in Bergen County, New Jersey. Yeah, so I think in the Northeast, it's actually not that bad. Where it's really bad is places like California. But Benjamin Cornell, that's a very good question. Alan Wilson says, I think the Disney move was partly due to C, but also due to DeSantis. Let me read your comment, but also due to DeSantis is constantly working towards Florida more business friendly, says Alan. I agree. We got to put back up the umbrella, everybody. Hey, Kobo Bunny says, Wall Street Skate Bro. Wall Street escape row. The impact of inflation is just beginning. It's horrible for everyone, especially those not in the top 1%. I definitely agree, Kobo Bunny. I agree with you 100%. Jetstar says Hertz moved here from the Northwest a few years ago. 700 new jobs in Southwest Florida. Hey, Shot by Scott is here. Says, hey, bud, back in South Beach. I thought you were in New York City already. So, Scott, I'll be back in New York City on first thing on Monday morning. Hey, we got EBITDA here. Says, hey, Tom, was that girl in the chair dead? I hope not, EBITDA. What chair? Which chair? Eric says, have you found a good pizza place yet in Miami? I have not. I don't think I've eaten pizza since I've been here. I think I'm actually too afraid to try pizza here. But, you know, we'll see as the time comes. If anybody has a good pizza spot suggestion, please let me know. Chris Mills says, in part of Ontario, gas is $1.44 per liter. Ireva says some gas stations here in California are $4.79 a gallon. I couldn't imagine paying $4.79 a gallon. But then again, I don't drive, so maybe that's why I couldn't imagine paying that.
I would have stopped the traffic.
EBITDA says Wall Street escape row. I think there is a Lucali in Miami. So EBITDA, you know, I'm so glad you're here because remember a couple streams ago we were talking about, you know, why Visa and MasterCard are selling off so much. And I was speculating, I'm like, you know, Visa's getting dumped, MasterCard is getting dumped. The market is telling us something, right? The market has to be telling us either, you know, the buy now, pay later craze is actually going to have staying power and it's going to eat significant market share away from traditional fintech companies. And I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, with the Amazon news that just came out, their feud with Visa, I think we're going to start to see all of this buy now, pay later stuff eating away at a significant amount of market share from MasterCard, from Visa. So we'll follow it. We'll see what's going to happen. But Wall Street has a very interesting way about doing things. And the market usually, it's a forward-looking mechanism. So the market will usually tell you what's going to happen or allude to what's going to happen before it actually happens. And in this case, I think we found a reason why these companies are selling off. Hey, Dino, New Jersey says those expensive gas prices in Ontario do pay for Canada's healthcare and college, says Dino, New Jersey. I'm not sure about that, but I respect the opinion there. Hey, Out and About is here, says good evening. Have you taken the free Miami trolley? I took it today. So Out and About, I did take the Miami trolley today. EBITDA says I agree. I think there is a lot of the buy now, pay later. I also wonder if some of the sell off his funds, window dressing the tax loss harvesting on top of everything else. You know, EBITDA, that's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. And you know, like you're seeing EBITDA, a lot of these Chinese names are getting pounded into the dust. However, last week we had a slew of earnings. All the Chinese major tech companies reported earnings. Alibaba with a big miss. Very disappointing for Alibaba. I'm probably going to take a loss on that and put it towards my tax loss selling as well. Hey, Glenn says Heritage Pizza in Fort Lauderdale. Let me take a screenshot of that. But EBITDA, I hope you have a good weekend, man. Mark says, hey Tom, where is the best place to get New York style pizza in Florida? I actually don't know. I've never had good pizza down here yet. War Walker says pizza is no good in Miami, I'm afraid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the water. You know what I mean? I think New York has good pizza, Long Island has good pizza because of the water. That's what I speculate, but you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll find a good spot. Shot by Scott, how are you? So Steve's Pizza on Biscayne and 123rd is the best in Miami. South Beach has pizza, but it's the beer Google pizza that only tastes good if you're drunk. Hilarious. Texas says, if the market follows historic patterns, we may be in store for a 15-year stock picker's market. How will that change your investment style? This is Eric, Texas. So Eric, I tend to be what's called I would say a can slim trader slash investor. So I have one account where I just dollar cost into a low cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500. I've been doing that since I'm 16 years old. And then I'll continue to do that and never sell that for the rest of my life. And hopefully, use that as collateralize it when I'm older. But I do run a long short portfolio in my Interactive Brokers account. And in that, I tend to take about anywhere from a 6 to 24 month time horizon on positions, mainly because I want to make sure. Let me try to clear the screen here. Mainly because I don't want to pay short-term capital gains. And historically, if you want to make the 100%, 200%, 300% gains, you need to size into quality names that are growing their earnings at a compounded annualized growth rate of at least 25% plus quarter over quarter. And you need to hold these stocks through earnings. So I think my investment process will probably stay consistent. The only real way that I'll sell a stock is if it violates, a major moving average. Paul Tudor Jones liked to say, so long as a stock is trading above its 200-day moving average, it is in an uptrend, right? So if, I'm long a stock and I have a pretty good position where I have a pretty good cushion, if the stock is down, maybe 8%, I'm not going to sell that. But if the stock cuts through a 50-day moving average or a 200-day moving average on higher than expected volume, then that's probably when I would sell out of a position. But I'm probably going to continue with sort of my investment style, because there's something called style drift in the industry. And usually when you drift from your style, your performance is greatly impacted. Let me see if I can clean the lens. Hey, Estelle says, here in Australia, petrol is so expensive at the moment. Marcellus says, gasoline here in Brazil is 780 real a liter. Jetstar says, Tom, look for scaffolding. Hey, Bobby Hill says, how are you, Tom? I'm doing good. Or have you ate? I have not eaten yet. I did eat lunch though. Hey, 48 is here. Says, hi Tom, how you doing tonight? What's up, 48? Is our good pal from New Zealand. 48 says, I think the camera needs a clean. I do too, but I keep cleaning it off, but it's so rainy and windy here that I think it's to no avail. Estelle says, how are you enjoying Miami? I'm enjoying it a lot. I really like Miami so far. Over the past couple of days, it's been pretty windy and rainy, but besides that, it's been pretty good. Bobby Hill says, you need to eat. Love your stream, bud. Hey, thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. Mark says, home heating oil was $2.20. Now is $3.90. Thanks to the stopping of fracking. Everybody thank President Biden, says Mark. So Mark, you heat your home with oil. So do you have one of those oil tanks in your, what do you call it, in your house? A lot of Long Islanders have the same thing. A lot of Long Islanders heat their home with home heating oil. So yeah, that's definitely a factor that plays into, budgets and everything. So I agree. It's kind of terrible. Chris Mills says that's a lot of neon. All right, I gotta take a break. I gotta put down the umbrella for a second. There's like a constant stream of wind that makes holding the umbrella very, very difficult. Hey, Lily's here. Says hello. Rainy tonight. What's up, Lily? Ron says gas here in Northwest Illinois, $3.55, crossed the bridge into Iowa and $3.01 because of the tax difference. Lost in Curb says is buy now, pay later, no interest. I did not know it was a thing. Yeah, so it is no interest, but if you don't make your payments, they're gonna hammer you. Hey, NYC Cherry Groove is here. It says, Tom, if people are riding and hopping crypto goes up and up, how would that make up for the currency that goes up and up? Cherry Groove says, Tom, if people are riding and hoping crypto goes up and up, how would that make for a currency that goes up and up? Cherry Groove, can you clarify your question? Let me try to clean off the camera. Yeah, could you clarify the question? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Ron says, my LP gas that I heat has went up 70%. Hey, Renee Image says hi. What's up, Renee? Lily is here. What's up, Lily? Mark says, how do you get home? You take an Uber South Beach to North Miami Beach? No, I take the bus. Anonymous dude says, Tom, and hope all is well. Miami is still gorgeous with the rain. What's up, Anonymous dude? Shop by Scott says, fantastic place to eat on Lincoln Road called the Next Cafe. Menu as varied as Cheesecake Factory. Definitely gonna have to check it out. Yeah, so I think buy now, pay later is going to be, I think buy now, I mean, look, the market, it doesn't matter what I think necessarily. What matters is what the market is telling us. And as of now, we could speculate that the market is telling us these buy now, pay later companies are going to start to take significant market share from traditional credit card companies. That's what the market is telling us. NYC Cherry Groove says crypto goes up. How can that be a currency if it keeps going up? Says NYC Cherry Groove. Yeah, so I think the terminology or the name cryptocurrency could at times be a little bit misleading, because if we think about the definition of the word currency, that implies that there needs to be some sort of stability. And what I mean is stability, I'm not talking about just stability of price. Because with the most important thing in a fiat currency, let's just talk about fiat currency for a second. The most important thing about a fiat currency is not the stability of the price, it's the stability in the trust that people have within that currency. So the only real reason why a currency faces hyperinflationary collapse is actually not the money printing. It is the trust in the actual governance of the currency. So for example, that is why the US dollar, even though it has lost 90% of its purchasing power, is still relatively stable on a relative basis from all other currencies around the globe, because the trust in the government of the United States is more so than the trust in, say, the Turkish government. That's why you see the lira in a hyperinflationary collapse. So the only time that you see a hyperinflationary collapse like we saw in Zimbabwe is when the people who utilize that currency distrust the government so much to where by definition, the value of the currency loses all its purchasing power, because the fiat currency is backed by the reliability and sustainability of that government that is issuing that currency. So when people talk about cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and it keeps going up, I think they get confused with the word currency. A lot of people, my definition of, let's say, Bitcoin or something like that is more of a digital gold store of value. So if we're going to say your purchasing power of the US dollar is going to lose 6% a year, because inflation, we just had an inflation print of about 6%. That means you need to at least make 6% return on your investments, or you're going to be losing money, right? So that's why historically people have bought things like physical gold, physical silver, as a hedge to normal inflationary pressures. In normal times, the US dollar inflates away about 2%, and that's actually normal and healthy. So the way I think about something like a Bitcoin more specifically, I don't really dabble in any of the other alternative coins, but as more as a digital gold store of value. So if Bitcoin on average will go up 20% a year, that's going to help you keep up with inflationary pressures of traditional fiat currencies. And that's why I think we've been seeing fund flows actually out of traditional gold funds into Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. So when I think about something like a Bitcoin or Ethereum, I think of more a store of value play as opposed to a traditional currency where we transact and buy goods and services. But that is definitely up for debate. War Walker says, time to catch the bus back home, Tom. The monsoons have arrived. Says War Walker. What time is it, War Walker, if you don't mind me asking? Scholler says, hey, Tom, what street are you on? So this is 13th Street and Washington Avenue. 13th Street and Washington Avenue. Eric Texas says, have you talked about real interest rates which are negative with inflation? Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. So for example, if you buy like a 10-year treasury that's yielding like 1.2%, your real rate on that is a negative yielding return. And actually the majority of the debt that's issued, or the majority of the bond issuance around the world, is actually negative yielding debt. So that is a good point. Lost in the Curve says all high schoolers should be required to take personal finance classes before graduating. I agree, Lost in the Curve. Sally, good to see you. Mark says, Tom, where are you in downtown Miami? I'll take a rainy night in Miami, freezing cold over the Jersey Shore anytime. I agree with that. 48 says, I love the rain. What's up, 48? Mark says, Florida looks beautiful. You're so lucky. I can't wait to sell my house and move to Florida. So Mark, where do you live right now? I'm actually looking at, I think is my next property that I would buy. As random as this sounds, I think it may be North Dakota. But we'll talk about that on another stream. Hey, Ren is here. Says, hello, Tom. What's up, Ren? Good to see you, my friend. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. True says, are you by Espanola Way? I think we are. I think we may have passed it, actually. Hey, Mr. Morales says, hello from Ecuador. What is up, everybody from Ecuador? The Mighty Bull is here. Says, greetings, Tom, moderators, and friends from around the world. Good evening to all, the Mighty Bull. It's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend, the Mighty Bull. NYC Cherry Group says, so how do you see crypto helping a third world country? And what do you see them bringing to the table in terms of value? Well, I think the main thing where I see something like Bitcoin helping a third world country is the preservation of purchasing power. Because when we're thinking about a third world country or a country that is run by a dictator, usually their fiat currencies are subject to hyperinflationary collapse. So let me give an example, not on that much of an extreme scale. Think about Argentina, a country like Argentina. If I lived in Argentina, in my opinion, the moment I got paid, I would transfer all of my Argentinian currency to either US dollars or Bitcoin. Because even though the US dollar has lost 90% of its purchasing power on a relative basis, right? Talking on a relative basis, the US dollar holds its value more so than any other fiat currency. So if you think about a third world country, the majority of their GDP productivity actually comes from remittance payments. So in some third world countries, or as I like to call them, not necessarily third world, but maybe an emerging market, a lot of their GDP activity actually comes from remittances. So if they have family members working overseas in Canada or Mexico or the United States, they would take some of their earned income and actually send it back to their home country as a form of remittance. And what they're doing now, and I actually went to college with a lot of kids who were doing this, they would go to places like MoneyGram or something like that, where they would take 20% as a transaction fee. You know, imagine if you could just send it via cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and pay pennies on the dollar. You know, so you remove a huge cost and a huge expense for these people that generate the majority of their wealth in the third world country from remittance payments. So that's sort of where I think the value comes in there. True True says, I'm from Miami, and honestly, it's been years that I don't go to Miami Beach. It's not the same as before, says True True. So True True, we're mainly usually in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, and the Brickell. Kamasari says, hey, what do you think about $150,000 salary? Is it a good salary? Yeah, I think it's a great salary, especially if you are in a place like Florida where you don't pay any state income tax. I think that's phenomenal. But True True, thank you for being here. Eric Texas says, in the past, the market forces have aligned interest rates with real interest rates. The discrepancy can't continue forever. Yeah, and so Eric, I think one of the main reasons for that is central banking, right? So ever since the 2008 financial crisis, especially with Ben Bernanke, which was the former Fed chair, printing a ton of money, I think that's why you have artificially low interest rates. During the 2020, the big C crash, essentially the Federal Reserve did the same thing with quantitative easing, dropping interest rates to near zero again, and buying billions of dollars in US treasuries and mortgage-backed securities to provide liquidity to the marketplace. True True says, thank you for having me. True True says, oh, okay, I love it there. Stay at the Brickell. Yeah, so True True, I work down there a lot. So I'm from New York, but I'm gonna be spending a lot of my time in Miami. But next week I'll be back in New York City. Hey, Diana Lee is here. What's up, Diana Lee? Happy Saturday. The Mighty Bull. What's up, Mighty Bull? Jordan LeBeau says, hey, Tom, I haven't heard back from you regarding tennis in January. Jordan, check your email. I actually just replied this morning. So I was checking my Wall Street Skate Bro email this morning, and I just replied to you this morning. I'm in Boston, but have the flexibility of working remote since I'm in tech. Thinking about moving out of Boston. Yeah, I mean, $150,000 salary is phenomenal. You know, if you can minimize your rent, you could probably start to save, you know, $70,000 to $80,000 a year, which is great. So if your company will allow you to keep your salary and move somewhere else, it just depends on a couple of things. It depends. If you really like Boston, you know, there's no need to move. Even though it's an expensive place, I think that by and large, people should live where they want to live, right? Unless it's a really dire circumstance. However, if you like Boston, I would stay there. It's a great salary. But if not, I would move to a state where you don't have to pay any state income tax, and your take-home pay is essentially going to double overnight. Diana Lee says, beautiful shot. What's up, Diana Lee? Eric Texas says, do you travel? Are you planning on anything for 2022? I am not a big traveler. The only time I travel is for work, if I'm seeing a client or on a meeting or something like that. True True says, if you have any businesses that I could learn from, I would appreciate it. But supposedly, I mean, from what I've heard, Boston is a really nice place. So this, I think this is a very famous Cuban restaurant here, Savannah 1957. You know, maybe we'll walk down here and check it out. I don't think we've ever walked down here on the stream. But if you're talking about $150,000 salary, I think the average salary in America is like $55,000 to $60,000. So I think that's phenomenal. That's awesome. That's great. Texas says, do you think the remote jobs are here to stay long term? I mean, in the tech sector, I think you'll always have remote work. If you're in a customer facing position, I think you'll have more of a hybrid work environment. So if you're in sales or if you work in investment banking, I think you'll always have to come into the office at some point. Kamin is sorry. I'm just gonna call you sorry because I don't want to butcher your name. So sorry says that's what everybody says, but it's not working out, unfortunately. Feel really lonely in Boston. Ah, that's terrible. That sucks, man. I mean, I would move maybe to a place if you can keep your salary where your friends and family are. Shot by Scott says Boston is in a state called Massachusetts. Indeed it is. Same with New York. I mean, New York is insane with the taxes too. Jordan LeBeau says, hey Tom, just read your email and sent you a reply. Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Hey, Felix is here. Says, hola Tom. What's up, Felix? Hope you're well, Felix. Glenn, how are you, Glenn? True says, what can I do to bring home 70K? I think you gotta just find a job that you like in an industry that's lucrative. So if you like finance, I would go into investment banking, something like that. If you like tech, maybe you want to be a software engineer, something along those lines. It just depends on what you like to do. I think it's more important to find something that you're gonna enjoy doing over the long term than focus on the salary first. I think you gotta just find something you like to do that you're willing to work hard at. That's just in my view. Sunshine After Rain says, love the music. Felix, long time no see. Good to have you here, Felix. Always a pleasure having you here, Felix. Boston Curve says, North Dakota ranked the happiest state out of all 50 states according to Google. Yes, it is. So as a New Yorker, it may sound weird that I want to go to North Dakota, but North Dakota is a great place. Chris Mills says, lots of copyrighted music. I've never walked down here, guys. I don't think we've ever been down here on the stream. Very nice. I like the architecture of this place. Let's check out the buildings from this side. Sorry says, find the consulting work, they pay good. Yeah, so any of like the big consulting firms, so you could think about Deloitte, KPMG, Ernst & Young, something like that. The Mighty Bull says, Mighty seeing, watching, and listening. Eric Texas says, what value are the additional taxes in some states adding? Are there adoption services or safety nets? I mean, I think by and large now, the corruption has eroded away the majority of the value, I think. Destructionist says, happy Saturday, Tom. Good evening from south of Winnipeg, Canada. What's up, Destructionist? Good to have you. Shot by Scott says, as long as it's truly happy, not delirium, happy from being in the middle of nowhere. That's true. Jetstar says, I had my dream job for 15 years and it was wonderful. Jetstar, what was that? Roz999 says, thanks for the stream tonight, Tom. No problem, Roz. Hey. Hey, so guys, just a quick announcement. So if you want to see or if you want to read or continue to read the Behind the Street newsletter, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, it's going to drop a link where you could sign up to receive the newsletter. So it will no longer be on the YouTube community page because the newsletters are too long for YouTube. So if you enter your email in the link in the description, if you type !NEWS, if you punch in your email, you'll receive the newsletter every single Saturday. So just a quick public service announcement. However, I just set this up, so it may take a couple days to get the newest version of the newsletter out. And the reason for that is because the website only allows me to send out one email per day. But I want to upload all of the old newsletters. Hey, Faith is here. What's up, Faith? This is welcome to Española Way. Very cool, this place. I don't think we've ever been here before on the stream, so it was nice to take a look at it. Ron says the newsletter is free, right? Absolutely, Ron. The newsletter is 100,000% free. Ron, I used to post the newsletter on the YouTube community page. However, I'm no longer able to do that because the newsletter is very, very long. And YouTube makes me keep it under at least, I think, 5,000 characters, I believe. So I'm unable to post it to the YouTube community page. However, if I send it to you guys via email, I'll be able to put all of my work and dedication into bringing you the best quality equity research, and that is my goal. So it's 100% free. The reason why I was delaying emailing it to everybody, because I really don't want to collect everybody's email addresses, because I understand the privacy concern. But I set it up in a way where I'll never see the email addresses. Hey, War Walker says, let's go for dinner one night there, Tom, in Española Way. Faith, good to see you. Faith says, hello, hello, happy Saturday, Faith. The topic of tonight's stream, we were talking about the semiconductor shortage as well as the global supply chain crisis. And now we are here at Collins Avenue. Eric Texas says, your photo in the link might as well show yourself. Eric Texas, what's going on? I was in Miami and Tampa last year on a workcation. Tampa has lots to do. Yeah, so supposedly Tampa, Florida is beautiful. I've never been there. I've never been to Tampa, Florida, but I would definitely like to go, for sure, one day. Hey, Deborah says, hello, old friends. What's up, Deborah? Glenn Mark, shot by Scott. Jetstar says, you were in corporate aviation. Very cool. That's awesome. True True says, just want to Google income for struggle. Frank Gonzalez says, hi, Tom. Were you a fan of Casey Neistat back in his New York City days? Yeah, Casey Neistat. So here's a funny story about how I came across Casey Neistat, Frank. I was actually one of the people who got a ticket for biking. Does anybody, I'm not sure if anybody's going to relate to this because maybe there's not a lot of New Yorkers in the chat now. But biking over the Williamsburg Bridge, the cops used to sit right there and hammer you with tickets. And I actually got a ticket one time and I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, you guys gave me a ticket for riding a bike over a bridge? But the way it's set up, the civil engineering is so ridiculous that Casey Neistat actually did an entire video series about the dangers of biking over this bridge, because essentially they funnel everybody into a very narrow passageway. And me and like 5 people were getting tickets about it. I only got 1 ticket from it, but just for riding my bike. And long story short, Casey Neistat did a big video about it. So when I was Google searching how to fight my ticket, the first sort of thing that came up was his video. Hey, David R says Long Island, New York here. Hey, what's up, man? I'm from Long Island, New York too, from Massapequa. So what's up, everybody? It's a Long Islander. But yeah, Casey Neistat is very creative. And he makes some hilarious videos about the inefficiencies at times in New York City. David R says Comac, nice. Suffolk County, awesome. Faith, what's going on? Pablo says greetings from Argentina. What is up, Pablo? Faith says I subscribe. Appreciate that, Faith. Thank you. David R says this is pretty awesome. Been forever since I've been to Miami. David, you gotta come. Hey, we got Zap Allen here. What's up, Zap? Says hi, Tom. I just signed up for your newsletter. Thank you, Zap. So Zap Allen, don't be alarmed if you get an email from me tomorrow from the newsletter. It's going to send you the old newsletters for the next 4 days, because I want to make sure I upload all of the old newsletters to the website so people can go back and read them and review them if they want. So you guys will get the new newsletter that's going to drop Saturday night, probably on Thursday, just because we're going through a backlog of emails, if that makes sense. TR61 says, hi Tom, just subscribe. Thank you, TR61. Hope you guys like it. But Zap Allen, it's good to see you as always. Hope you're having a good weekend, Zap. Sally says, beautiful view, Tom. Juan says, did you move to Miami? We did. I did move to Miami, but Juan, I will be back in New York on Monday for the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm gonna go visit family. TR61 says, I have family in New York. Awesome. You know what's funny? I've been running into a lot of Long Islanders down here. Brandy says, oh man, I missed the era of Casey Neistat. Is he not making videos anymore? Frank Gonzalez is interesting. What's up, Frank? Sarah G says, who you think will compete with Tesla to get those electric car profits? Actually compete? Probably Apple. So within 10 years, we're actually probably going to see Apple as a very strong competitor to Tesla, I think. A lot of people are speculating Lucid Motors, but Lucid Motors has delivered under 100 cars. And its valuation is greater than GM. So that thing is a total bubble, in my opinion. Sarah G says Apple in cars. Yeah, I mean, Apple just announced that they're speculating starting a car business. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, everybody, we've been streaming for an hour and a half already. I may have to end the stream in a minute. But we're approaching Lincoln Road. And I believe somebody was telling me about Lincoln Road on the stream a couple days ago, that there's a big shopping center here. Sarah G says, I think maybe they will unite with another brand. Yeah, I'm probably speculating that they'll do a deal with like Toyota or something. Randy says, Tom, this is the place to be. Also, when will you be back to Florida from New York? I love it here in Florida, Riverside, California. Hey, so you know what, Randy, thank you for saying that. I have noticed, just by taking the bus around Miami, there's a ton of cars with California license plates. I mean, a lot. There's a ton of vehicles here with California license plates, which is just so surprising to me. And one of my good buddies in real estate says not only have people been moving to Florida from New York, but from California as well, which is very interesting. But I'm going to be staying in New York for a week. I'm going to visit the family for Thanksgiving. I want to be in New York for Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. Eric, Texas is great stream. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Eric, for being here. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Always a joy talking to you, my friend. Zap Allen says, Tom, I read General Motors will be converting all of their cars to electric in just a few years. Yes, they will. So I think I was reading a piece by Jefferies. Jefferies is a big financial service investment banking firm on Wall Street. And one of the analysts at Jefferies was speculating that by the year 2030, 85% of all new vehicles sold will be electric vehicles. This guy's got a skateboard. Sarah G says, I was wondering if GM can compete though. I think they can. Buy the book says, mass exodus from California. Horrible politics, expensive, homeless, fires, drought, etc. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really big problem more than anything in California is the drought, is the, massive wildfires. I hope some entrepreneur somewhere that's very smart and educated comes up with a solution to all of the fires in California. There needs to be like an international waterway where they take all the rainwater from Miami, places like New York, and ship it all the way to California. I think it can be done. There needs to be something like that. Hey, Roy S is in the chat. What's up, Roy? Says, hi, Tom and all mods. Wishing all of you a great remaining weekend. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it. Faith says, you've been on for an hour. It feels like we've been only streaming for like 2 seconds, but we always get caught up. Sarah G says, our local electric company is installing like 15 plus around here. The charging stations, very cool. Mark says, so what section of Miami do you live? North Beach, Sunrise. I live in the town of North Miami Beach, which I really like, by the way, because it's very, very quiet. It's not too crazy. It's not like South Beach at all. It's very quiet, very nice community, a lot of families, kids. But by the book, I think I have to agree with you. Ron says, thanks for the stream, Tom, and take care. Good night, all. Thank you, Ron. Hey, Talvish is here. What's up, Talvish? Says, Wall Street Skate Bro. Hey, man, I hope you and your family have a great Thanksgiving. You too, Talvish. Right back at you. So we're walking around South Beach, but we're going to go to Lincoln Road, which I think is over here. Somebody asked me to come over here a couple streams ago, so we'll take the time out to do that today before we jump on the bus back. Oh, and another public service announcement for everybody. I finally received my computer after almost 2 months since I've ordered it from Apple. So I believe I'm trying to figure out, and I may do a poll on my YouTube channel, what days would it be best for everybody? What days would be best for everybody to jump on a behind the desk stream? So I've been talking about this for a while. That once a week I want to do a stream where it's me behind my computer. We go through the financial markets, we scrutinize earnings reports, we talk about the economy, and things like that. So I think I want to start that when I come back from New York City, and I may do that I'm thinking either I'll do that Wednesday afternoons or Friday afternoons so we could recap the entire week on Wall Street. And I think I'll limit those streams to about an hour. But I just received my computer. The supply chain has been nuts, so I just got it. Faith says I didn't get a notification. Buy the book says yes, that would be amazing, awesome. Sunshine New York says that's great, Tom. You know what I'll do? I think this weekend, maybe on Sunday night, so tomorrow night, I'm gonna put up one of those polls on YouTube to see what day would be best for everybody, because we have an international audience. But I definitely will put up the stream for a replay as we always do. But essentially what it's going to be is me behind the desk on my computer. We'll go through some of the financial data that I look at. We'll pull up the SEC's website. We'll scrutinize some of the 10Ks, the 10Qs, and we'll have some fun. I'll show you guys how to read a balance sheet, a cash flow statement. We'll build some financial models together, and we'll talk about industry trends in the tech sector and things like that. So I think it'll be cool. Chris Mills says M1 chip. Yes, Chris. So I had an iMac before, Chris, and it's so old. I think I bought it in like 2013 that it almost is like inoperable. So I did the recycling program where I send them my computer and they send me back another one and they take some of the price off. Sarah G says, sounds great and fun, just subbed. Hey Sarah, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. For everybody that's new, we actually started off the stream doing these live streams on a skateboarding around New York City. But now that I moved to Miami, we will be doing the streams in Miami, but I will be spending about 1 week per month in New York City. 48 says, I am on Sunday afternoon at 4:25 p.m. Sarah G says, I like chatting about stocks. Thank you too. Yes, Sarah, welcome. Happy you're here. Can an individual set up their own 401k account and get tax benefits? Yes, especially if you're a small business owner. And I believe the Biden administration actually increased the amount that you're allowed to add to your 401k this year, if I'm not mistaken. Sarah G is perfect. Love it, stay safe. Chris Mills says never underestimate Apple. I agree with that 100,000%, Chris. Sarah says Apple can't compete, slow service, etc. It's a good to be, but just don't know if they can compete with Tesla. Yeah, I mean, I would just say never underestimate Apple, sort of just like what Chris said. Again, they have a lot of cash to invest into this stuff, right? So Apple has a ton of cash on the balance sheet and a lot of brain power. So one of the things that, I like to make a point that, I'm from New York. Yes, it's a high tax state. Yes, it's crazy, but one of the reasons why New York and California, by and large, will always thrive and survive is because of the educational institutions in New York and California. So the talent pool is very big, right? In New York, you have a lot of Ivy League schools that you can recruit from. That can be anything from Cornell University, NYU, New York University, Columbia, and the like. So there's always a massive, massive talent pool for companies to recruit from actively. In low tax states, there tends to not be as premier institutions as some of the Ivy Leagues in the Northeast. That's why you're seeing the same thing in Massachusetts and Boston, because they have exceptional institutions or schools where these companies recruit from. You know, Goldman Sachs is headquartered in New York City, and they headhunt and recruit out of NYU, New York University, Columbia University, and the like. So the talent pool will always be in these big cities, regardless of the tax burdens that they have. The Mighty Bull says, Mighty following. What's up, Mighty Bull? Hope you're well, the Mighty Bull. And I think they decorated these palm trees for Christmas. So on the right here, this is Pennsylvania Avenue, and they have a pretty cool looking Starbucks coffee right here. Pretty cool. Sarah G says the people and infrastructure too. That's true. And I mean, New York is the greatest city in the world. You know, if I was a young kid, if I wasn't from New York, you know, I think New York would be one of the first spots that I would want to go to. Sarah G says, you think so? They are involved in the Astro World thing. What is the Astro World thing? Yeah, you could definitely have another account on the side. Absolutely. Lost in the Curve says Tesla has millions of miles. Yeah, so that's exactly a great point. So let me read what Lost in the Curve says, because this is probably the point of all points of the night. It says Tesla has many miles of the world's roads in their database, can be leased to other car companies. Yeah, so if we think about data, and if anybody's familiar with data science and AI and machine learning, the companies that will win over the long term are the companies who control and house the most amount of data. So if we think about the race for autonomous vehicles, and I mean full autonomy, Tesla by far, just as Lost in the Curve says, has the most data out of anybody in terms of autonomous vehicle and autonomous driving data. So I think it's going to be near impossible for even the second best competitor to catch up with Tesla in terms of innovating for autonomous vehicles. It's literally going to be near impossible. Because one of the things that we have to understand about data science is with big data comes exponential growth trends. One of these trends you could think about like social media with Metcalfe's law. You could think about a Facebook, we're now called Meta, with Metcalfe's law, which the exponential expansion of these digital trends. So it's like compounding interest. They just compound on themselves. So as you collect more data, machines get more intelligent. And the more intelligent you are, the more data you collect, and so on and so on and so on. So Tesla has a massive lead on autonomous vehicles. I think probably the second behind Tesla would have to be Alphabet. And Alphabet obviously owns Google, and Google owns a subsidiary called Waymo. Waymo is Google's autonomous vehicle driving arm. Sal says Google has the most data in the world, says Sal. Yeah, so Sal, we were just talking about that. In terms of Google's Waymo, but in terms of road miles and road data for autonomous vehicles, in relation to if you're driving a Tesla car and you're swerving to the right, all of that, those different idiosyncrasies of data, driving an EV, driving an autonomous vehicle, Tesla has by far the most amount of data for, you know, studying industry trends about braking and lane changes and all that stuff, for sure. Zap Allen says the Astro World disaster. Oh yeah, with the Drake and the, yeah, I mean, that's why I don't really go to those concerts at all. Oh, but happy Hanukkah for all of our Jewish viewers. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Saris is basically a concert that ended up as mass casualty event. Hey, Sarah LaChance is followed. This is interesting. Thank you for doing this. Hey, Sari LaChance, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Ibrahim Azam says, I am here. It's a happy Saturday. What's up, Ibrahim? Does anybody know what time it is? I want to make sure I don't miss the bus here. But Ibrahim, I hope school is going well. Hope everything's going well with you, my friend. PANI says, hi, everybody. Hello. 10:34. Copy that, Ibrahim. Thank you. Hey, Gerald Lee's here. What's up, Gerald? We got the one and only Gerald Lee here. Says, hi, Tom. Just saw Fernando and Action Kid on their live stream. Both says you were very smart. Hey, thank you for that. Appreciate that, Gerald. Hope you're having a good night. Tell Action Kid and tell Fernando that I'm sending my best wishes back from Miami to New York City. So I hope you guys are holding it together in New York. Zap Allen says, Tom, what do you think about Facebook or Meta developing high-tech virtual reality? I just purchased the Oculus Quest 2, Facebook's VR headset. Yes, so Zap, we actually just dedicated an entire stream to this exact topic, and I think you are asking very good questions here. I think the metaverse is going to be bigger than a lot of people expect. However, I think in the short term, I think the hype is going to cloud out the actual physical real world use cases, right? And this is with any new emerging trend. It's very hyped up to attract investment and to attract talent to build products and services for the new emerging industry. So I think as of right now, we don't have anything that's really usable. And I know that there's, actual applications on the Oculus, but it's not as user-friendly as I think it should be, if that makes sense. But what I speculate is that over the next 5 to 10 years, we are going to be living, working, and playing in the quote-unquote metaverse. And we're already seeing this with younger generations. So in younger generations, if you think about gaming, so if we think about a company like Roblox, the younger generations are already telegraphing the future, saying, look, we're comfortable with owning property in the virtual space. We are comfortable with having commerce back and forth and building products and services and playing and making friends and connecting in a digital world. That's why a lot of older people cannot grasp the concept of Bitcoin or Ethereum. They think it's nothing, they think it's fairy dust, but they don't understand the comfortability, if that's a word, or comfortability of younger generations to live, work, and play and actually develop their livelihoods in the digital world. I've never seen a kid on the bus or on the subway that doesn't have a smart device in their hand, right? I talk to some of my friends that have kids and they're like, my kids are on Roblox all day, building things and buying digital skins and virtual, items and building property, right? Or owning physical property in the digital space. So it may seem crazy to me and you, but to the younger generations, they're pretty much telegraphing us and telling us what is going to be the standard quo moving forward. So what I think, especially as a salesperson, what I was speculating on the last stream when we were talking about the metaverse, I think there will be a time within my lifetime, probably within the next 10 years, where I will be able to actually hologram in to a client's office or a doctor's office and give a demo on how to use a product or a service, where it's not like a transactional, one-dimensional or two-dimensional sphere like a Microsoft Teams. It'll be a fully immersive world where you can do sales presentations, you can go out to virtual dinners and virtual sporting events with clients. You'll be able to purchase Super Bowl tickets within the metaverse and take clients out and have parties. It's going to be crazy, and that's what I speculate. The Mighty Bulls is watching, listening, and learning. "48 says, I have seen 4-year-old kids with a mobile." Yeah, isn't that crazy? So 48, we think that's nuts. We think like I would never give my kid a mobile device, but I think this is going to be standard quo, or status quo. I think it's going to be abnormal to see a kid not having these devices. Gerald Lee says holograms like in Star Trek will be a reality then. I absolutely think so. I absolutely think so. Hey, Ice is here. Says, hi, Tom. What's up, Ice? Deborah S says, while sitting on your couch. Absolutely. So Deborah S, one of the things that I was speculating with one of my friends that's actually a software engineer for a dating website, actually. He was speculating that in the future, you're going to be able to go on an app like a Tinder or a Bumble or whatever, an OkCupid, and actually set virtual dates where you put on your Oculus, you put on a headset or some sort of virtual glasses, and it'll be so real where you can actually go on like a virtual date to an actual coffee shop, and it'll look like you guys are standing face to face with each other. It's not going to be like a FaceTime experience. It's not going to be like a Microsoft Teams or a Zoom call. It's actually going to be virtualized worlds where you can hologram and into literally each other's lives. And I think a big industry in that is going to be the online dating sector, in my speculation. Hey, Craig. What's up, Craig? Says New York City Times Square is packed right now. You know, that makes me feel really happy, because I was in New York City throughout the pandemic and that place was a ghost town, but I always knew it would come back. So that makes me really happy to hear that. Hey, Nicole says, hey everybody, what's up, Nicole? Sarah G says, that's all they know, just like my generation with the TV. Ice is here, what's up, Ice? Sal says, after years on iPhone, I finally switched to Samsung. Battery improvement is great, specifically for gaming, says Sal. Craig says it's like Ready Player One. Hilarious. The Mighty Bull says, wow. Ibrahim Azam says, yes, this virtual world could allow people, could get results instantly. Very interesting. Yeah, so Zap, to answer your question, I think it's going to be big. I think the metaverse is going to be very, very big, but not right now. Wow, Faith, thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate that, Faith, with the $50 super chat. You're very kind. It's a pleasure to have you as a part of the channel, as a part of the streams, and it really means a lot to me that you support my work, Faith, so thank you so much. You're a very good friend, and I appreciate everything you do for the stream, so thank you very, very much, Faith. You are the best. So I'm going to show these flamingos just for Faith. This one's for Faith right here. Eric Texas says, we will have to pay more to have a hologram be about 10 pounds lighter. This is Craig. 48 says, I agree. The world with technology, will keep changing and changing. Hey, James Stewart is here. What's up, James? Says, what's happening, Skate Bro? James Stewart, good to see you, my friend. Long time no see. Mark says, hi Tom, love your videos, but I don't trust Bitcoin at all. I'm from the old school unless I could see it, hold it in my hand, or it's in the bank, says Mark. Yeah, so Mark, I think you were sort of touching on what we were just talking about, as in the comfortability, I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, the comfortability of the older generation with living and playing in a digitalized world. The same with my parents. You know, if I ever told, you know, my grandmother to transact or put some of her wealth in Bitcoin, she'd be like, no way, like, what is that? Right? But for a person, like, imagine all of these kids right now that are growing up playing Roblox all day, where they're building digital avatars and they're buying property rights online. You know, if you handed them a dollar bill, they'd be like, what are you, crazy? They're like, what is this? I mean, even in my own life, I don't remember, honestly, the last time I actually held physical currency in my hand. Anytime I have to make a payment transaction, I always transact via Apple Pay. So everything that I have is virtualized, is digital transaction. So I think as this new generation comes up, I think you're going to see more and more adoption of digital stores of values, digital currencies, transacting online, and different sorts of virtual property rights, if that makes sense. But I do understand your concern, Mark, for sure. Faith says, always enjoy your streams and going out in the rain. Thank you, Faith. I appreciate it. So we just walked Lincoln Road. We walked the entire Lincoln Road. Hey, T and Me TVs has just tuned in from Nashville. What's up, T and Me TV? Mark says you should watch Super Friends in the City Fernando. Yeah, Super Friends in the City Fernando. He's phenomenal. I love Fernando. Great friend of mine. Andrew Lee says, what's up from Queens? What is up, Andrew, from Queens, New York? Roy S says, I don't think I'm ready for the hologram virtual reality way of life, including for dating. Yeah, Roy, I don't think a lot of people are, but I think the millennials and Gen Z, not really millennials, I think Generation Z is definitely going to be where it's at. Out and About says, I dined at the restaurant to your left. We'll have to walk past it again. Yeah, so we just walked the whole sort of subsection here of Lincoln Road. And we'll turn around and go back. Zap Allen says, I just got set up with Apple Pay. I have been using Cash App and PayPal a lot. Yeah, so Zap, I mean, do you ever use physical cash? How many people in the chat actually uses physical cash anymore? I'm just curious to see like what the ratio is. I just think it's very cumbersome, right? Because anytime that I have to pay with cash, I have all this change floating around in my pocket. And I just think it's very cumbersome and inefficient in my opinion. Oh, Sarah says I do, okay. Mark says, hey Tom, I just got my new tax assessment at the Jersey Shore and my house went up another $100,000 in 1 year. Wow. Mark, well, congratulations. But I'm sure you'll be paying a little bit more property tax, but congratulations on your new assessment. Hey, Merkel says, I honestly never use cash unless I'm in New York City for buying food. Yeah, so Merkel, one of the things that I've noticed is, you know, me being from New York City, there's a lot of cash-only places. But now, I mean, whenever my friends go out and the place says, hey, cash only, we're like, hey, you know, we don't have any cash, and we walk out. So I think these cash-only places are going to be forced to conform with the norms of society, in my opinion, unfortunately. And just to give you an idea, Merkel, so one of the best halal places in New York City is called Adele's Famous. They used to be an all-cash business, but now they accept Apple Pay with Square. And I've noticed, because I used to live right at Central Park South. So at night, when I would come home from work, I would sometimes go to get halal food. And the famous halal cart right outside of the Hilton Hotel in New York City, I noticed, like, when I was a kid going in New York City, the line used to be stretched around the block, you know, down the corner and around the block. Now, there's almost no line at that halal place, but the line has shifted and migrated to Adele's famous? And one of the things that I'm speculating about is that Adele's accepts digital payments and Halal Guys does not. So I think that is impacting their business a lot, in my opinion. Hey, Marty Lewis says I have to use cash to pay to have my laundry done and the tip. Very interesting. Hey, Ham Hill says I still use some physical monies, but rarely. What's up, Ham Hill? Good to see you. Charlie Richardson says some places allow the option for different payment methods. Charlie Richardson, happy Saturday, my friend. Mark says you got to pay $2.90 cash just to go 10 miles in the Garden State Parkway. My God, that's insane, Mark. Zap Balance says I keep about $50 in my wallet for emergencies. I keep quarters for the car wash. Yeah, I agree, Zap Allen, but you know what? You know what actually I started doing probably around 2014? I actually stopped carrying all cash. And I think what's going to happen is as the world moves to a more digital economy where everybody only transacts in digital currency via PayPal, Square, Cash App, or things like that, I think you're going to see crime plummet. Crime is going to go down like crazy because what's the point of robbing somebody if there's no cash, right? Why would I go up and rob somebody if I know that they don't have any cash in their purse, right? So I think moving to a digital world is actually going to do wonders with crime. Sarah G says, I feel that cash is dirtier as well. Look at this place. Yeah, I think you're right. I think cash quite literally is dirtier. I'm 53 years old and I still use cash for smaller purchases. Japan is a developed country and they are primarily cash only. I wonder why. So that's interesting that you say that. One of my buddies spent a little bit of time in Japan and told me the same thing. However, then he moved to Hong Kong and it was only digital transactions. Everybody was using Alipay. And then he lived in Beijing for a while, in which case there was zero cash. Everybody transacted virtually, everybody. Brandy says, I have some cash I keep around, but definitely have moved away from it more. Out and About says, you can go into the art gallery. Yeah, Out and About, I think they're gonna scream at me though if I have a camera in there. But that place does look cool, doesn't it, Out and About? Charlie Richardson says the digital world will be an opportunity for hackers. Well, I think with cryptography, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to hack things unless we have quantum computing. Murky says, yep, Alipay and WeChat Pay. Hey, Sal Mendez says, yeah, but maybe there will be more hackers. Yeah, I mean, so that is the main concern of a lot of people, but this is the exact argument that took place back when cloud computing was coming to the forefront. So I remember when Mark Benioff was starting Salesforce and doing the migrating everybody to on-premise infrastructure or from on-premise infrastructure to the cloud, everybody was like, I'm afraid of hacking. But, you know, as we've come to find out, it's actually much safer to store things digitally with the appropriate cybersecurity precautions than it is to have physical papers flying around everywhere. Alan Wilson says you need to have cash when a hurricane is coming in case the power and data lines go out for an extended period, says Alan. That's actually a very good point, Alan. Very good point, actually. Sarah G says, where money flows, attention goes. Mark says, Apple Pay, I've never heard of that. How is Apple Pay? I use Apple Pay for Pretty much everything. Pretty much everything. Oh my gosh, everybody, we have the one and only Swan here. This is Money Talks and Chit Chat Walks. What is up, the Swan? T&Me TV says some retailers still upcharge for using plastic. Ridiculous. Mark says, suppose your phone goes dead because of the power outage and you couldn't charge your phone. How are you going to pay for things with Apple Pay not working on your phone? Well, I think if the power's out for an extended period of time, where like for weeks, I think we're going to have a lot more bigger problems to worry about than paying for things. I think you're going to see anarchy. And that's sort of the argument I make, that in a modern society, you know, I think I like to make the predicament of people are expecting, they say, okay, in an Armageddon scenario, what would you do if you don't have, you know, your cell phone charged? So, but that's accounting for such a small probability of time. So my argument is, so what, we should not advance technology just because there may be, you know, a very, very small probability of time where we'll have an Armageddon situation? I mean, I think that we should just continue to move things forward, but I think you make a good point. You know, what if the power's out for 2 weeks and you can't go to the gas station, you can't do anything? Well, then I think we have bigger problems to worry about. T&Me TV says slam the like button, folks. Yeah, I mean, I know a guy that I work with and he's crazy. I mean, he's a good guy, but he is crazy. He's like, I'll never put anything on my phone. I'll never have anything digital. You know, I'll never have a TV because I think people are going to remote in and watch me when I'm sleeping. And it's like, I mean, if you want to live your life like that, I mean, what's the point of living? You know, people like never have any sort of digital payments, only carry physical cash, gold and silver, because they're preparing for a once-in-a-lifetime Armageddon scenario. Brandy says, I have a $100 bill put up. I found an iPhone belonging to a vice president of a local bank, and he mailed me $100 for returning it. Wow, that's awesome, Brandy. That's really cool. Ricky Ticky says, when it rains, nobody goes out. It was raining like crazy. Everybody, the one and only, the greatest city in the world right here. That's a great picture of the Empire State Building. Alan Wilson says, even if you have cash, if the power is out, you can still get gas because the pumps don't work. Oh, you still can't get gas because the pumps don't work. Eric says, should be a FEMA service to provide cash to those in the worst cases. Yeah, I mean, look, I went through, you know, Hurricane Sandy on Long Island was horrible. It was terrible. And, you know, if, like, let's say if you were in Long Beach, New York during Hurricane Sandy and you had like 1,000 bars of gold under your mattress, you know, it really wasn't helping you out. Everybody was screwed. Marilyn Ringles says, what part of Miami is this? Looks very nice. This is called Lincoln Road, I believe. Lincoln Road. Sarah G says, I like to work toward the best possible experience, but have Allie's stuff stored just in case. A little stuff stored just in case. I think that's a great idea. I agree. Obama says, love Long Beach, New York. Out and About, I agree. Out and About says, that Christmas tree and the palm tree that made me think it was so surreal to see them together. Ricky Ticky says, do you like partying? Not really, honestly. So that's something I will say though. It's a little bit surreal in November to be walking around in a shorts and a t-shirt. That is a little crazy. Mark says, Tom, how safe is Apple Pay? Suppose the power goes out on your phone. How do you pay if your phone doesn't work? Yeah, so what Apple did is, let's say if my phone dies, I'll still be able to use Apple Pay. So when my phone is completely out of battery, if you hit the power button twice, there still is a little bit of juice left in the phone where you can make payments, which is actually kind of cool. So I'm not sure if anybody else has an iPhone, but when it dies, and if you hit the power button twice, it quite literally says, you know, you can still make payments and you can still have access to your credit cards and things like that. Hey, Josie is here. What's up, Josie? Okay. So I think we're gonna have to call it a stream, everybody. I do need to get back on the bus and head home, unfortunately. Lisa says, did you hear that Vancouver area did 1 month of rain in 2 hours on Tuesday? Tremendous flooding. I did not hear that, Lisa. That is crazy. Did you say 1 month of rain in 2 hours? That's really insane. Louis says Marty Lewis says I have to write a check every month for my rent. David says, Tom, do you know anything about NFTs? Yeah, so David, I think NFTs right now, the vast majority is all fraudulent BS. Excuse my language, but again, like anything, what you're going to have is a big washout. So everybody now that is, and all of these celebrities especially that are pumping and shilling all of these NFTs and coercing their followers into buying them, I think number one, there'll probably be some sort of repercussions to pay for that. But then you're going to have the majority of these go to zero, quite literally. But then from that, you're going to have real viable use cases come out of them. So I think in about 2 to 3 years, you're going to see more normality return to the quote-unquote NFT marketplace. And I've seen this before. I mean, a lot of people that are getting irrationally exuberant about NFTs now, they weren't around crypto in 2014 and 15 like I was, right? With all of the altcoins going to the moon, and then the majority of them went to zero. And then now we are in the sort of second wave. So I think that's going to happen the same thing with NFTs. The majority of these things will go to zero. They will. People are going to lose a lot of money. And then it's going to be very silent for about 2 years. And then you'll have real technologists and real people that develop interesting use cases. So I think the purpose of a non-fungible token is to establish ownership of a digital entity, which I think is phenomenal. I think that's an unbelievable piece of technology that I'm very bullish on over the next couple of years. But I think with any new technology, we're seeing extreme irrational exuberance. David R. says Snoop Dogg is one of the top NFT producers at almost $2 million in sales this year. Says David. Charlie says, I have seen point of sale systems go down and workers have to do calculations manually. I've seen that as well. Hey, Sarah G says, at Wall Street, have a good evening. Thank you, Sarah G. Brandy says, thanks for the stream, no problem. says the power went out with Sandy for 3 weeks. Banks in New Jersey closed for 1 week. Yeah, I remember them taking out the safety deposit boxes from the banks and having everybody come collect them on the street. And there were cops with guns protecting everybody. It was just wild. It was like very dystopian, very, very dystopian feel. Irebus says, thank you, Tom. Have a good evening. Be careful going home. Thank you, Irebus. I appreciate that. Zap Allen says, same thing happened during the dot-com boom back in the early 2000s. I agree. All right, everybody, but we are going to have to call it a night. I do have to catch my bus. So everybody, thank you once again for joining tonight. I really do appreciate it. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to subscribe to my free newsletter, the Behind the Street newsletter, if you type !NEWS, !news in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where you can sign up for the newsletter for free, and you will receive an email every single Sunday with the new edition of the newsletter. So thank you everybody for coming. Santa Monica Rodriguez, I appreciate it. Everybody enjoy the night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a very nice day tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will subside so we can do a sunset stream in Miami. The sunsets here are beautiful. Faith, thank you so much. Out and About is our good pal from Toronto, Canada. Please check her out. Alan Wilson. I will be streaming next week, Alan, but we will be back in New York City. So I am flying to New York City on Monday. So please be aware that I may not be streaming on Monday because I will be in the air traveling. We'll see. But I appreciate everybody for joining once again. And I will see everybody in the next one. So Faith, appreciate the support. Nicole, thank you. Roy S. Obama, Mark, thank you so much. The Swan, Sally, Joe C, Alan, Ibrahim Azam. Sunshine After Rain, a great moderator. Sunshine After Rain, really do. Really appreciate you. Dr. Ray Rays, appreciate you. Murky, Joe C, Ibrahim, Sarah. Everybody that's new to the channel, thank you. Jared, good talking to you. Sally, as always. 48, Gerald Lee. David, good to see you. Randy, Santa Monica Rodriguez. And good night to the Mighty Bull, wherever you are. Because there is always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Hey, and I see Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Melee. What's up, guys? Have a good night. Take it easy, Marty Lewis. See you in the next one. And the Swan.